Welcome to Let's Cap. I'm your host, Ronald, also known as Youcapper at Sportsmemo.com, at Youcapper Sports on Twitter. Got my guy Chris be capping with me once again for this week. Man, gotta start the show transparent. For me, I had a pretty good weekend. I ended up 0-1 on Saturday, but 4-1 yesterday. So bounced back off of the I guess 0-1 Saturday, but Saturday I was more focused on the UFC. We were kind of chatting on the side there. I was like, I don't like anything. I was just betting UFC, but UFC was good. Hit the Leon Edwards. I don't know if you follow that stuff, Chris, but hit the big underdog in the championship game. But yeah, definitely a bounce back spot yesterday, 4-1. So hopefully last week in general, Chris, we had good shows pretty much every day that week. Hopefully we continue going in that way. But Chris, how was your weekend?
Yeah, I see it was good, man. Always, excited and happy to break down the card with you. But weekend was good. 2-2 day on Saturday. A couple of those spots we was looking to fade. Well, I know I was looking to fade us. He just didn't fall in place. Like really wanted to fade those teams coming off those double overtime games. And the Bulls went. They were at home. They had beat the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Yeah.
And we're at home and still beat the Heat too. I know you weren't high on that Heat team, RC. I remember your team preview at the beginning of the season. The Heat could not get it done, man. They actually struggled until late in that game in Detroit as well. So I was on the Heat minus the 3. I should have known something was up when the line didn't move, even though they were, they were. I think it opened at 2.5. So that wasn't a great spot, but we did go 2-2. Hit on a total. I think we were all aligned on the total on Saturday. I can't remember what total it was, but I know it was an under. Oh, it was the Clippers. Yeah. The Clippers and the Magic. Yeah. Strong trends there. So we hit that one. But overall, 2-2 day. I think went Friday. Honestly, I think we had a winning day on Friday. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I didn't really do much yesterday. Just kind of laid low. And just in preparation of the day. Hopefully, we have another strong week. RC. Let's keep it going, man.
Yeah, for sure. Real quick before we move to the games, Brian Prieto had a question for these teams in must-win situations to make it into the play-in. Do stats get thrown out the window, or do y'all just lean less on stats? That's a good question, Chris. Let's go with you first. See what do you think about this one?
Yeah, no, that is a good question by Brian. I think as far I guess if you're throwing stats and trends in there, some of the time desperation spots would kind of overlook some of those things, Brian. But I know RC you probably gonna say the same thing. RC, I'll let you speak for yourself, but has to be like a correlation. Like we're typically looking for a correlation between the two.
Yeah.
I think about perfect example RC was yesterday, San Antonio Spurs at home. Blowing that 29-point lead against the Memphis Grizzlies on Friday. Yesterday, 10-point dogs at home, and they go down by 20. But one thing we know about Atlanta is we never back Atlanta, RC, when they travel from home to road. They were 0-5 straight up in that 0-5 against the spread in that spot. And yesterday 0-6 because they not only could they not get a cover, but they couldn't even win the game yesterday. So it's all it's about the correlation between the two. If I typically find strong trends, I typically it's enough to back me off the play, even if I was kind of liking it already, Brian. But yeah, that's what I would say. RC, it's definitely a correlation between the two, though.
Yeah, for sure. You would think the must-win situation is that motivation, right? We not only we back the trends and analytics, but also just the psychology of it as well, right? Because these guys are gonna want to play a little bit harder. I mean, just if you think about today, right? You think about one team in a current situation like the Kings, right? Like the motivation to prove themselves. They're number 2 in the West, but it seems like all season long they've been having to prove themselves because nobody really thought they would be in the positions they're in. Right now, they got a team that they could pretty much easily beat if they wanted to, and then they got a Celtics team tomorrow. Right? It's that look ahead spot, and I got a trend that I'm going to look at a little bit later on that spot specifically, but mentally or the psychology part of it is like, yo, tomorrow we need to show up, right? This is a game to prove ourselves to everybody that we belong in the top in the top tier of the West Coast. And that even though obviously Boston's from the East, but proving themselves to beat another top team, I think that's one thing to look at, is not only the stats and the trends, but also that motivational spot or the psychology of it. So like you said, it's correlation. I think you got to balance everything out. It's not just one thing or the other. It's just like when we have like trends and systems and stuff, like we don't automatically just back it because it's on a 10-0 run, right? You still got to do your due diligence, make sure their current form is on point, and all those the other situations as well. But yeah, anything else to add before we move on to capping the games?
I think Matt Stoney, I think that's spot on right there. I see Matt Stoney. He said must win doesn't always equal let's forget that we're trash defensively, guys, and this should this win should, we should just get the win because it doesn't work that way. I think to the Trailblazers, he said the Hawks, but the Trailblazers were in a very similar spot yesterday as well. I see getting the Clippers on the second leg of a back-to-back. It was the Clippers' first game away from Crypto.com Arena in 5 games. And they got Kawhi back, and they needed that win. But the Blazers also needed that win. They're already talking about shutting Damian Lillard down for the rest of the season. So, it's really just I'm not backing the Portland Trailblazers because they're at home in a desperation spot when they're playing against a team that's in another desperation spot. So, yeah, I would agree, man. It has to be a correlation between the two, like you said.
Yeah. One more thing to add before we go is the fact that we do these team trends. When we go through the slate, we talk a lot about the team trends. It has to do with like how they prepare for games, right? The coaching aspect of it, the situational things that we bring up, just like the revenge angle that we bring up, right? A lot of teams don't do well. Some teams do well. Like we're going to talk about Philly later. They're one of the teams that really do prep for those revenge angles. Like they go back and watch the film and say, all right, well, this is what we do wrong. We come back. Sometimes these other teams, they don't do that, right? They just kind of go with their game plan, game after game, regardless of what happened in the previous matchup. So I think that's one thing that's telling with the data, especially when you get back, when you get far into the season and you have enough information to give you those stats, is like, how do the coaches prep? How do the teams prep in current situations? So that's one thing that I like about later on in the season in those situational trends that we bring up. All right, that's enough about that. Let's move on to the games here. I'll share my screen. All right, let's go. We could just go game by game here. Bulls and the Sixers. This one, I can't remember what you said in the chat, Chris, but I like Philly and I like the over in this one. Did you have anything in this game?
Yeah, I like Philly as well. I see. So it's a lot to like about Philly in this spot. I know the line is moving in their favor. I think when I played it at 7.5 this morning, I think it opened at 7 last night or 7.5. Yeah. And I was looking at it, saw the line moving, said, let me go ahead and get on it. So I did play them, in this spot. And, I understand the backers for the Bulls are going to say, well, they need this game more, because the Bulls are in the 10th seed right now, I see. And this is the first of one of those back-to-back like mini series as well. These two teams do play again on Wednesday. Six is just too hot to fade right now, I see. I know what you have on the screen right now is that the Sixers in a revenge spot this season, 15-3 straight up, 15-3 against the spread. But if you add that they're at home,
if you make the home favorite 9-0,
like they take these games very, very serious. This is one I talked about, on my show this morning as well. I see that's just a spot I'm not looking to fade this team in. And then if you just look at them after the All-Star break, they're really, really hot right now. And
offensive rating first. The Bulls, the other reason why I like the over, Chris, is because the Bulls offensive rating is right there, right below them in 5th. The one thing that is kind of against it is the pace of play, right? Both in the bottom 3 as far as pace of play. But we have Caruso, who is questionable. We have PJ Tucker, who is also questionable tonight. 2 defensive-minded players, two players that kind of slow down the pace for the team as well. So, I mean, I think if both of those guys are out or even just hurt, and they have to manage their minutes, I would think that they move a quicker pace. Their offensive efficiency also continues to be pretty high as well. And then also their defensive efficiency goes down a bit too. So for me, I think you're kind of going through some of the things we typically look at some of the same stuff, but that revenge angle is pretty strong here for the Sixers here, especially as home favorites. One thing that I looked at, Chris, did you see anything on the Bulls side to fade the Bulls?
To fade the 76ers or to fade the Bulls? Or to fade the Bulls. To fade the Bulls. Yeah, so look at this. I was looking at road dogs off a double overtime game, and then a win as a road dog as well. So PPOT greater than 1 and previous WD, previous win as a dog, and then their away dogs and a previous win in previous season equals previous season.
Oh, like they beat the same team?
They beat the team earlier this year as well.
But just take out the season, right?
Yeah, I think I took out season. Yeah, no season.
PPOT greater than 1. Oh. Is that right? 8 road dog, PP overtime greater than 1. Previous game is a win as a dog.
Yeah, why am I say something different? Actually, I got 413. Hold on, let me see. So away dog, PPOT greater than 1, and previous win
Is it
as a
greater than or
dog.
equal to 1?
No, it's greater than 1.
Oh.
On mine it is because I got a screenshot, so I didn't even write the career out. I try to make it easier. Previous win as a dog and away dog, and previous win and previous season equal previous season. What I got RC was 4-13 straight up, 5-12 against the spread, and mine is the same exact way. I just got the previous OT as a I just got it first. That's all I got. Like mine, just like yours. I got away dog in the middle, but it shouldn't matter. Yeah, it shouldn't matter. Let's see. I got Thunder and Knicks. Do you got Thunder and Knicks at the bottom? No, you don't.
No, I don't.
Yeah, we don't. We don't got the same thing.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, here's one thing that do we consider just? Yeah, I think so. So Chris, I know you mentioned you took.
Oh, actually, I got it.
Yeah, what's up?
I got it. So I think I had a screenshot. I got the wrong thing at the bottom. So previous overtime is greater than 1, like you had. Previous win as a dog, and previous. I'm sorry, and away dog, and date is greater than 2026, 2026, 2006, 12/23.
Or just adding the date? Is that the only difference? Or
so adding the date, and then there's something in there I see that we got to take out. Take out the previous win and previous season.
Right here?
Yeah, take that part out, and then just add and date is greater than 2006, 12/23. There we go.
There you go. All right. 5
So that's fading road dogs off 2 games ago when they went to double overtime. Yeah. And then they won as a dog as well in their last game. That's what, 70%, right?
Yeah, 70%.
Yeah.
I like it. Here's one also that I got from this season. So we go season equals 2022 and team equals Bulls. And we have last of a 3-game homestand. 3-game road trip, I believe is what it's called. Let me see. Bulls in road games following at least 3 straight home games. Oh, my bad. In road games, it was the opposite. So, all right. So in road games following 3 straight home games. So that travel spot that we always talk about, right? When they get comfortable in the same gym, then they move out. They struggle in that spot. 0-5 straight up, 0-5 against the spread. So that has to take the Sixers there. I know this one went into OT, but they ended up. The Cavs ended up covering that one eventually. But yeah, so to me, that would be the way that I go. Is the Sixers here? It is tough because we didn't. Right now it's tough. I got it at 7 last night, right? And now it's at 8.5. It might still be going in that direction. To be honest, I think they end up winning by double digits, for what it's worth. But it's always tough to give someone the bigger number.
Yeah, I see. One more thing I want to share real quick. Just a league-wide trend. So let's look at this season home favorites and rest plus previous rest plus previous rest equals 2, and opponent rest plus opponent previous rest plus opponent previous rest equals 2.
So fatigue spot on both sides.
And the date is, let's just look at this year. I see, like this calendar year, 2023 0101. Okay.
20-0 straight up, 15-5 ATS. Sixers.
It's just saying that if you have two fatigue teams, the home favorite typically wins those games.
Yeah.
In cover.
I like it. All right. Well,
also,
yeah.
RC with the Bulls, they've been playing everybody in their last few games. Like they've had to like go balls to the wall and play everybody in their last few games. And B set out in the last game.
Yeah, for
so
sure. Yeah.
He's they
ended up losing by double digits that game. Yeah, I saw that Embiid was not in there.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry. Harden set out the last game. Embiid played in the last game. So they're a lot.
Are you sure? I have Embiid. So they split the season series 1-1.
No. You're right, RC. You talking about the last game that they played without Embiid. I'm talking about the most recent game in general against the Pacers. Harden set out, so he's going to be a lot more rested than the Bulls are in this situation, coming off the double overtime game and the win as a dog at home.
Gotcha. Real quick, before we move on to the next game, I want to bring up I think it's Harden assist. I know you were on James Harden assist a few games ago, and that one hit pretty easily. But if you look at Mug versus Bulls, so his number is 10.5 today. He's gotten 11 or more in 5 straight against the Bulls. He also, if we look at from a oh man, that's so small. Here, I think matchup wise, I think it's a good spot too. So Harden, 19. So it's still on a decent, I guess, decent side for guards, over assist for guards for the Bulls here. I think it should be a good matchup for him. Yeah, so I would say that would be it from a prop perspective. Obviously, Embiid has a lot of motivation to continue dominating like he has been, but I would look towards Harden assist from a prop perspective. What's up, Muna? You're on mute, bud.
You muted.
There we go. What's going on, guys?
And you have anything on this one before we cut out? Move on to the next one.
No, I just don't want to regurgitate everything, but you guys pretty much nailed it with the Sixers. I was also looking at the Harden assist prop that you just mentioned, RC. He's gone over, or he's at 11 or more against the Bulls, I think, in 5 straight games, 6 straight games, something like that.
5 straight, yeah.
So I think it's a good look for tonight. That's on my card.
I like it.
Munaf popped in.
Like, just look at his current form. He's just crazy.
Yeah. Munaf popped in, RC, right when his Rockets decided they're gonna. I think they're getting back to tanking tonight. You guys saw the updated injury report.
Yeah, they were back at it tomorrow or yesterday.
So Jalen Green is now listed as questionable with a thigh injury. Alfred Sengun, illness, he's questionable, and Jayshawn Tate is out to injury management today.
Oh my god!
These guys are 17. What they doing with injury?
Yeah.
They saw the Spurs win yesterday. They're like, all right, we're taking the night off.
Yeah, we got to relax. We're doing too much.
This one, I didn't got the next game here, Pacers and the Hornets. I didn't really get into this one too much, just the fact that Hallie was out. It's almost automatically looking towards the Hornets here, especially with the Pacers as as road favorites. Did you guys have anything on this one?
I think Ski sums it up pretty much. No Hallie, no Pacers.
Yeah, so I just went to SpoDevs and just went straight to this, right? Pacers without Hallie, and then if we take that off, if we take out the road game just in general, they've been kind of struggling in that spot. 4-13 straight up, 5-12 ATS. Average margin there is about 8 points minus 8. And then if we say that they're on the road, there you go. About the same margin there, just from the spread perspective, 3-9 straight up, 3-9 ATS. So I can only look towards the Hornet side. It's just tough. It's just tough because the Hornets are bad too. You know what I mean? Did you guys bet anything on this one or anything from the prop side?
Nah, not for me, RC. But it is what you said though. You look at this Pacers defense, and they are like terrible. I think they're 29th defensively last 5 games. And you look at the opponent's points per game. They like teams are scoring whatever it is they want against this team. Yeah. So to me, it does feel like you take the team that shouldn't be favored, even if it's 2 bad teams. Don't you have a query, RC, where it's like 2 bad teams and one of them's at home or something like that? You remember that we talked about?
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. I probably didn't pop up because I know I saved that one. Yeah, I didn't pop up on it. but I get what you're saying. Like basically two bad teams. One team's not. Neither team's supposed to be favored.
Yeah.
Um,
RC, real quick.
yeah.
This last point I'm gonna make. Since the All-Star break, Halliburton has missed. The Indiana Pacers lost to the Spurs in San Antonio, and they also lost to Detroit in Detroit as well. So it's no way I'm laying points with this team anywhere without Halliburton.
The only thing that sucks with Charlotte is how bad their offense has been, right? Because obviously you see the Pacers dead last post All-Star break defensive rating, but the Hornets are dead last in offensive rating. So I don't know, man. This one's almost like a throwaway game for me. Did you anything else before we move on to the next one, or do you guys see anything from a prop perspective with Hallie out? I know there's some questionables.
The one that I was kind of looking more into was probably Nick Richards' double maybe. It's at plus 230. I know historically we talked about how centers do have some success rebounding the basketball against the Pacers as well. I know we've talked a lot about the Hornets fading them or betting on centers against the Hornets, but I think we could say the same about the Pacers as well. Mark Williams is out again. He's dealing with, I think, the thumb sprain. Not sure if he'll be back for the rest of the season. So Nick Richards has been kind of getting the minutes as well for the Charlotte Hornets. I know he recorded a double-double in, I think, 2 out of the last 4 games or 5 games, something like that, against the Cavs. And then I think he had one against the Pistons as well. So at plus 230, I don't hate that number. I know he only played 13 minutes against the Sixers, but I think he should have a bigger workload here tonight.
Yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense to me. It's just so tough. Yeah, I don't want to mess with this game. All right, let's move on to the next one here. I think you guys, at least I know Chris likes this one. The Wolves and the Knicks here. Chris, talk about it. What do you like about this one? I know you. I think was it the Knicks early?
Yeah, Knicks early. I see. They've been what the young kids call a wagon, with the 4 wheels on it lately. The Knicks are, they're rolling right now. And I like them in this spot, I see, mainly because they do have the full roster. Also, just a fade of the Timberwolves as well. Brunson came back on Sunday, and this team looked like they didn't miss a beat at all. If anybody got a chance to watch them play against Denver the other day, I think 16 points in the first quarter. He's all about business too. He does so much with his team. He kind of puts everybody back in their natural place. And I know how good the Timberwolves have been recently, specifically early in games as well. But I just feel like Anthony Edwards won't play in this one. He came out of that walking boot on Saturday. I don't anticipate him playing in this one. I shared with you guys in the chat earlier the report from the Star Tribune from Chris Hines, I think, who said that he probably, most likely won't play in this game. So I think that's why we see the number move in favor of the Knicks. Gobert also listed as questionable in this one. And you take a big hit, RC, when you don't have Anthony Edwards on the floor. Of course, Karl Anthony Towns is kind of ramping up right now, but he's not going to be back. The Knicks, the Timberwolves offense goes from a 113.9 points per possession per 100 possessions on the floor when he's on the floor to a 106.4. So I just don't think that they have enough offense to compete with this Knicks team. I also looked at the Knicks when they're home favorites of 6 points or more, RC, happened 9 times so far this season. In those 9 games, they win in the first quarter by 6, win the second quarter by 6 as well. Let's see. Yeah, 6-point gap in both of those quarters there. And also, you look at the Knicks. Check this one out, RC. I looked at the Knicks 5 games at home post All-Star break. They're outscoring their opponents by 11 points in the first quarter and 3 in the second quarter as well. So I did play the first quarter and the first half, and I like both of those spots today for the Knicks.
Yeah, that first quarter is hella crazy for the Knicks. It seems like that's a spot there. Munaf, did you have anything to add on this one? Are you on them early too?
Yeah, I took Knicks first half as my best bet on my show earlier today. Everything Chris just said there, but even if you want to look at the Timberwolves in non-conference away games, I believe they're 4-9 against the spread. I know they kind of give it up in the second half, but I think we kind of just look at the logic of the Timberwolves as well, man. Coming off of the double overtime game against the Chicago Bulls and having to travel to Toronto, lost that game by double digits.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's not a huge trip from Toronto to New York, but there's still travel, involved. Um, I'm pretty confident that Anthony Edwards will probably not play here today for the Timberwolves. I know it's only one game, but there's a significant fall off from their offensive efficiency with him and obviously without him. So, and again, it's a matter of fact of that the Knicks are as healthy as they've probably been all season, right? We saw Jalen Brunson come back on Sunday. Right from the get-go, he took that first three-pointer, he missed it. That long rebound came right back to him. He put it up again, and after that, he made that shot. He put up 16 points in that first quarter. So I would rather see Rudy Gobert play here tonight because I feel like they were just barbecue chicken him in the pick and roll here tonight. I think it could be a big Jalen Brunson game. I also took his assist over 5.5 at plus 120. They matched up earlier this season. I think in that game, Jalen Brunson had 8 assists. If you want to go even deeper, double at 12 to 13 to 1. I don't hate it, but I think it's a good spot for the Knicks here tonight.
Double on Brunson.
Yeah.
Got you. Yeah, he's such a good addition to that squad this season. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
All right, so just a few things that I want to add to because you guys touched on a lot of it, but I think it was Knicks as home. I think I had it up. Knicks as home favorites in non-conference games. You can see that big gap there in that first quarter. I was kind of looking in that direction. The other thing that I was thinking too was that first quarter over 59, I think, overall. The only thing that I worry about is just the uncertainty with Anthony Edwards. I think we all expect him to sit here. Just how does it affect the number? Because if Anthony Edwards is out, I would think that the total comes down a bit, right? And then you can get a better number later if you like that first quarter over. The other thing that was kind of pointing in that direction as well is road dogs and non-conference. Oh, you already touched on that. I think it was. So we go Wolves. So they're bad. Obviously, they're bad on the spread there. 8-0 to the over. The only thing that sucks about this is that the whole AE, right? Like you don't these have him in there, so the numbers are a little bit misleading. But for the most part, it seems like they start off fast in this spot here, right, as a road dog. So to me, I kind of want to just focus more so on the total because I feel like if AE is out, we get a better number there. I already kind of missed the number on the Knicks here, so I don't want to come in late and jump on that. But I would think that they go over without AE. We always talk about the injury replacement theory. Obviously, it's always tough to think about who's going to put up the points with AE out, right? Yep. They don't really have too much going on, but at the same time, we see it all the time, right? The bench players pick up the pace, don't play any defense, and then just end up, scoring more than they need to because the opposing team really don't care to play defense either. The top players off of the court. But that's the way that I was looking. I think I'm just gonna wait it out and see if I can get a better number on the over later. Anything else on this one?
Smash spot query RC is previous overtime is greater than 1 because we know that the Timberwolves are coming off a double overtime game. And it's league wide year like take the year out, RC. So rest equals 1. And then previous rest equals 0. So on the second leg of they were on the second leg of a back-to-back, and they should be exhausted in this spot. Now they're road dogs. And we could just look at that.
3-12 ATS.
They get smashed in the first quarter, smashed in the first half. If you look at it after All-Star break, honestly, it becomes a little bit better. But I like it both. So that's why I think it's Knicks in the trifecta spot today. Timberwolves should, really, really fade. This is not even factoring in that we all expect Anthony Edwards to sit in this spot.
What the fuck is that? So, hold on. So Spurs. Man, that's because it's the Spurs, though. Spurs. They got smashed in the first quarter. After that, they played. Okay. I'm just trying to figure out why. It's probably just because it's the Spurs.
Yeah. After All-Star break, I see.
Yeah. No, I like it.
No, if you add after All-Star break to the query.
Oh. Oh, and 6. Gotcha. Okay, so Sixers in that spot today as well.
Yeah, because Bulls play that double overtime game.
That double OT
So
game.
both
Yeah,
were in it.
gotcha.
Yep. Should be smashed by us today.
All
I
right,
think this
Sixers
is
and
where
Knicks.
the tired legs should catch up to them in their games here tonight.
Yeah. I like it. Did you guys take the team total by chance, or just you did? Okay.
Yeah, a lot of the queries that we were looking at with both the Knicks and the Wolves, they were pointing towards overs for the full game and even the team totals. But I think if Anthony Edwards doesn't play, I mean, like Chris mentioned, the offense falls off efficiency wise. But again, this Knicks squad is healthy right now, man. I think you either take first quarter team total over or first half.
Yeah, the first half seems like it's a spy here. Here's one more thing before we move on to the next game here. But the Wolves on the road on the third game of 4 nights, 1-5 straight up, 1-5 ATS, 6-0 to the over. Everything's really just pointing in that direction, guys. So it seems like I'll be aligned with you guys as far as the Knicks. Did you guys know maybe the Knicks team total over as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I like it. All right, let's move on to the next game here. We got the Warriors and the Rockets. Man, this one. So this one's. I did like the Rockets. Not gonna lie. Warriors on the road obviously is a fade spot here. Rockets. It seems like they're tanking. Obviously, with the injury news coming right before the show starts. But did you guys have anything on this game here? Did you guys take the Warriors or anything on the prop side? Props might be the way to look, right? The Rockets defense kind of just terrible.
I mean, if we kind of look at the history between these two teams, RC, Warriors have just dominated in the regular season. I think this is the third or fourth matchup already this season. I want to say it's a fourth one, if I remember correctly. But one of the plays I did like was Warriors first half team total over 61. I already played that. It was 3 meetings earlier this season that they scored at least 61 or more in that first half, did the Warriors. I know one of those games was without Steph, but if you just look at Klay Thompson, what he's done against his Rockets team in the last 2 games, he's had, I think, back-to-back 40-point games, and he's dropped 10 or more three-pointers in both of those games. So now you have Steph Curry playing here tonight as well. I mean, if you're a parlay player, if you want to buy it up to 5 each for both Klay Thompson and Steph, if you want to go as far as 7, 8, 9, I mean, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't be shocked if the Warriors put up 135, 140 points here tonight.
Oh man, I like it. All right, so Chris, did you have anything to add on that one?
I mean, I would just echo what everything Munaf just said. All the frustration and not being able to win a road game, just go come out tonight.
I mean, it's a perfect storm, right? But for the Rockets, I mean, you talked about the injuries that just came out. It's the third game in 4 nights for them. They're on a back-to-back situation as well. Yeah. So, and those are already seeing some of those guys that might end up sitting here tonight. I mean, they split with the Pelicans. That's like a victory for the Rockets. And they saw the Spurs win yesterday against the Hawks. I mean, I think it's Pistons, Spurs, and Rockets at the bottom 3 for sure. So again, there's a perfect storm for the Warriors here tonight, and I think you got to take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Yep,
so
this
is what I initially liked. This is why I initially liked the Rockets here. All right. So this season, home games following a home game, so back-to-back home games. They have a game coming up, right? So this is the first leg. Sorry, this is second leg of back-to-back games,
right?
And then their opponent is rested, right? So they're on the second leg. Their opponent is rested. This spot is 31-20 straight up, 34, 15-2 ATS, 30-20 to the under. This says to play the Rockets, right, at the +10. If we say that they're the home dog in the situation, it goes to 18-4-1, right? This is just a spot here that it seems like it should be a spot where the Warriors kind of like overlook, right, the Rockets, and then we also know that the Rockets kind of struggle on the road. So I put those things together, and I was just like, I think Rockets might be the spot. But now, man, they're just, KPJ is out, are questionable now, downgraded, and then you got Şengün, who's downgraded as well. And we talk about it here, like not only on the show, but just in general. But when people are downgraded in the middle of the day, they typically are going to be out for the game, right? They're more likely to be out for the game. So I definitely don't like it now with those guys out. But at the same time, if those guys are out, we're gonna see a number at like 14. Are we gonna lay 14 with the Warriors or like 13 or whatever? Because it's gone up to 11 already, right? And that's before the news. So I don't know, man. Jabari time. OG Wham's here. Jabari time for Wham.
I agree. If Şengün is out tonight, you got to look at Jabari double because he's that. There's a couple of games I know we were talking about in the chat as well that when Şengün's out, Jabari's usually he's the beneficiary of the other rebounds for the Rockets. I know they weren't pricing that properly because we cashed on a couple of plus 230s, plus 180s when he was out of the lineup for the Rockets.
Jabari. Oops.
Michael said Chris looked like Keldon Johnson. Nah, you look like Andrew Nembhard, dog. You get it right.
I got Tatum last week.
Hey, you just look like a whole bunch of people, Chris.
Hey, they said that about all light-skinned people, actually.
Yeah, look how close he's on with that double-double every single game.
Yeah.
Right? 9, 9, 9, 12, 11. Obviously, he missed here, but the volume was there. I don't know what happened with rebounds here versus the Knicks, but other than that, he definitely didn't play for that double-double.
Chris, you said KPJ's downgraded too?
Was it KPJ or Jalen Green?
I believe KPJ was downgraded. Right?
Okay.
Let me double check.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'll double check real quick too. It was
I thought it was
Green.
Tate and KPJ.
Jalen Green.
Oh, Jalen Green, my bad.
Yeah, Jayshawn Tate is already out.
Gotcha.
So if KPJ plays here tonight, RC on that, just change Jabari to KPJ because he's gotten doubles as well.
Shit, hey, we did that last time, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's like 4 of the last 5 games without him. Yeah.
I remember I laddered his PRA too on that one. Yeah, he's double here for KPJ's on point 2. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. I might do that one again. We did cash that one. Last time it was plus 900, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was at 9-1.
Yeah, I know yours was 900. Mine was like 8 something.
And that was the same game Jabari had a double too.
Who?
KPJ had a double the game with the assists, and then Jabari had a double with the rebounds.
I don't like it.
Fast-paced game. I like it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write that down. I forgot about that too. KPJ and Jabari. All right. Okay. So you guys not gonna touch the spread or the total though, right? You're just gonna make this a prop game?
I think I'll probably just try factoring Warriors team totals, man. I mean, I just don't see a reason why they shouldn't be able to get those. I grabbed a 31 earlier this morning for first quarter. First half, it was at 61. I think full game's now up to 123.5. But I mean,
I see. Yeah. I see. If you look, so if you add, because I was about to back up what Munaf was saying. If you add that the total was 235 or higher to that query right there, the Warriors should be 9-1 to the over, and you should get support. Munaf should get support for first quarter team total over and first half team total over and full game.
It's just that stupid fourth quarter. Man, what did we take recently, Chris? That we took the fourth quarter under?
It was Atlanta on Friday. Remember?
Oh yeah, Atlanta game, that was such a good call on that game. First half over.
First quarter too, like Munaf said.
Yeah, first quarter, first half. Yeah.
All right, let me add that one too. Damn, that was a good look. Warrior first quarter. Did you guys take that first half over?
Yeah, I already took it. Yeah.
I'm probably getting there with Munaf. I didn't play that one yet.
I mean, they could honestly come in and put up 80 in the first half. I would not be shocked.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's a fact.
All right, man. I came in with 2 plays, and then now I'm seeing like hella shit. This is why I like Let's Count, because it just breaks it down from everyone's different perspective. It's just so different. All right, anything else before we move on to the next one?
No.
All right, let's go to. I kind of skipped on this game too, guys, because I'm not gonna lie, because there was a lot of injury, injury news that we got to worry about in this one. I kind of didn't want to mess with it, but did you guys see anything on this game
for Dallas and Memphis?
Yeah, Dallas and Memphis.
So I think we just saw news that Luka is out for sure, and then Kyrie and Tim Hardaway Jr. are remaining questionable here tonight as well. So
yeah.
I know I was talking to Chris earlier this morning, and if you want to look at how Memphis does against How Memphis does the game after they play the Warriors.
Just take it back.
Yeah, if you want to, I only look at it this season, but if you want to go back, like maybe it's like 2020 or something like that.
2020, 2021. So they've been covering prior to that, but it seems like more recent form, right? So we're looking at that.
Ever since it turned into like the fake rivalry,
Yeah,
you know,
like
like
after the
play like
playoffs
they call
last
it.
year. Yeah.
Yeah. If you just look at this year, I see they've been terrible.
Yeah, because this was the playoffs, right? So let me just take the playoffs out. So that takes that out. Well, it's pretty much the same thing. So we just go back. Let's just do this season, then, I guess. Then they kind of just struggle right after they play the Warriors.
I mean, they get up for the Warriors
I
every
think
single time.
mentally, right?
Yeah,
That, we talked about that psychology part of it. Yeah,
you get up for that game, and then you prone for a letdown spot. I think is what Munoz was about to say.
Look at the first half there.
Yeah.
And then you
But
factor in having to come back from
dependent
29,
on what was that?
I said you factor in having to come back from 29 down the night before against the San Antonio Spurs and the travel spot as well. I don't know if you guys saw the post game interview, but Dylan Brooks said, I was ready for this game against the Warriors. He said, I'm always ready to play them. I slept for 4 hours. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, that's good. That's really good to know. So we know, you're going to play your hardest against these guys. So he should be in a prime for, a letdown spot in this spot. But similar to what you said, RC, I'll keep it quick. I didn't, when there's so much going on with the injury report, I just skip those games. I'm not really interested. So I didn't, I'm not trying to play the guessing game, checking the injury news all throughout the day, trying to figure out who's going to be in and who's going to be out, especially when there's other games on the board that I like a lot more.
Player list name, player season, Luka Doncic. What am I missing? Season, Mavericks, player, and am I missing anything? Because I remember last time that I saw this, it was two. They've been covering it, winning and covering with Luka out and Kyrie in.
That looks it looks accurate to me. You spelled Luka's name right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Weird. Dang it. I don't know, but last time I remember checking that, it was 2-0 straight up and against the spread. I don't know when the last game was. Fuck, I want to see that. List name, player list name. This is where we need a Wang.
Is the season correct? Season.
Season equals. Oh, there it is.
2 equal signs.
Yeah. There you go. So now it's 3-0. They just played against the Lakers and covered that game.
Yeah.
So I remember looking at that because of that game specifically. So if Kyrie plays, if Kyrie plays, it might be looking in their direction. It seems like when they play together, it seems like there's just too much going on.
Yeah. I know their next game is against Golden State on Wednesday at home too. So I don't know if they're looking ahead to that and keeping their guys out.
That's a good point too. But for me, if Kyrie is in, I would only look in that direction. But other than that, I'm staying away from this one pretty clearly. Yeah. All right, let's go on to. Oh shoot, it's already the last game here. The Kings and the Jazz. This one got a whole bunch of injury stuff too. Markkanen just got called out right before the show, or and then they're already missing Sexton and Clarkson. So a lot of offense missing. Would you guys just kind of look towards the team total under in this one?
Yeah. I would think so. I think full game under makes a lot of sense too, right? Sacramento
using the King side too, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. You have questionable tags on Kevin Huerter and Trey Lyles. I mean, those are two key guys as far as role players. Obviously, Kevin Huerter, their best shooter. And then Trey Lyles has been really good off the bench for this team as well. So that just puts a lot more pressure on guys like De'Aaron Fox, Harrison Barnes, and Sabonis. But I think the one play I really did like, we'll get to player props here in a second, but I wanted to see how they do without Laurie in the lineup.
Did I spell that right? I don't think that was right. Is it 2 Ks and 1 N? It is. All right. So without marking in 2 and 5 straight up, 4 and 3 ATS. 116.
RC, add that. Add without Clarkson as well.
Yeah, no Clarkson either.
I feel like you already saw this, Chris. Did you?
Maybe not.
Just one game. But they lost to the Nuggets. And this was earlier in the season. Lost by 5.
December.
So they covered, but they didn't score. I mean, that's tough. That's tough because there's only one game. Let's just look at this. So they cover and they go over without Clarkson, but then when it's without Markkanen, they lose. And there's not a big gap here in the over-under. I don't know. Did you guys touch this game at all?
Only thing I looked at was Sabonis PRA. He's had a lot of success against his team in the 2 matchups for the Kings this season. He's gone over his PRA of 41.5, which is posted here tonight.
I'm kind of just looking through the chat here. Gotta stop fading the Kings. Yeah, they're good, man. They're good. Sorry, my bad. I remembered what I wanted to show.
I got to play on this game too. I see when you get done.
All right, real quick. I was looking at the look ahead spot here because with the Kings having the Celtics right on deck tomorrow. This is what I looked at. So we go season equals greater than or equal. And we have win percentage is greater than 55 and win percentage is less than 50. And next opponent, win percentage greater than 55. And then we put in n rest equals 0. And I believe that is it, right? So this is 55 win percentage filtered. Oh, yeah. All right, so this is basically a look ahead spot on the second part of the season, right? So I put game number greater than 41, second half of the season, instead of just AASB, because we know it gets to like 50 games or whatever. But win percentage greater than 55. So a team basically with playoff that's probably in the playoff picture there, facing a team with a losing record, right? And then their next opponent is another team that should be in the playoffs, right? 55% win percentage or greater. And then it's the first leg of back-to-back games, right? So that's a clear look ahead spot that we typically look at. And that's 13-28 against the spread, 31.7% cover rate there. So that says to fade the Kings in this spot here and to play the Jazz. I mean, the number last night, I think it was like 6.5. If Markkanen was in, I think I probably would have played that. And like if I saw this before last night, but other than that, dude, Markkanen's out. Kings just like kind of proving everybody wrong continuously, just throughout the season here, especially in the second part of the season when everyone thought they were going to fall off, but it's not happening. So I can't fade them in this spot, even though it's telling me this is a pretty clear look ahead spot to the Celtics. Other than that, I can't touch it. I think if we go to Kings as road favorites, this is one thing that the only reason why I kind of stayed off that first half. I know some people in the chat was saying first half, right? Because Kings as road favorites, the 14-3 straight up, 12-5 ATS. But if you look at that first quarter and the first basically the first half gap, it's not that significant, right? They're actually down by 1.2 on average, and that's a 17 game sample size. But if you look at that second half gap, that's where you can kind of take advantage of it. So I would think if you're patient enough and you want to wait it out and see what happens in the first half, maybe take the Kings in the second half, because you know that's where they're going to dominate, especially that third quarter. They kind of been in that Warriors role where the Warriors kind of dominate the third quarter. The Kings have been doing that this season, but I just don't know if I could take it pre-flop at the number it is now at +5. Do you guys have anything from a prop perspective or anything like that?
I played the exact opposite of what you just said, RC. I think that trend right there that you're looking at is like them as road favorites is like in totality for the whole season versus like them, like you said, kind of having like that warrior mindset of more recent. So after the All-Star break, if you look at them as road favorites, they're 7-0 straight up and against the spread. Everybody looking for a spot to fade them. I'm not fading the Kings. So 7-0. I don't think all of them were favored. I think if you just add that they were on the road since the All-Star break. I also got the Kings. They have the highest offensive rating in the first half since the All-Star break. I see if we just go look at them like on NBA stats, they have the highest offensive rating in the All-Star since the All-Star break as well. You look at the Jazz, they rank just 26 defensively in the first quarter. It's typically a spot where you want to fade the Jazz. You want to fade them at home in the first quarter.
Did you say first quarter or first half?
First quarter and first half. I played both. But first quarter, they have the highest offensive rating post All-Star break. And that's typically where they start. So if you hit the button again, I see, and look at where the Jazz land, 28, right? And then you hit defensively, and same thing, just hit defensively, and you see that the Jazz give it up in the first quarter. Kings do too, but they have a lot more offense without Clarkson. You look at the net rating, RC. Just click net rating. One gonna be at the top, one gonna be at the bottom.
Yeah.
So for those reasons, if you go back to Killer Sports, I see you look at the Jazz post All-Star game in 4 home games. This team starts really, really slow. They did it against Boston the other day on Saturday night, and then they came back in the second half. So we see they only scoring 51 points. That's lower than the San Antonio Spurs in the first half. So for all of those reasons, I am on Kings first quarter and Kings first half. I think if it's any part of a look ahead, it'll be, they probably want to get this game over with early. And both of those trends kind of correlate to getting the Kings early in this spot. I also got them. You just looked at the stats for the first quarter. Yeah. If you look at first half, RC, the Kings are +9 in the first half, and the Jazz are -9 in the first half. The Jazz have the highest effective field goal percentage at 47. I'm sorry, the lowest at 49.7 effective field goal percentage in the first half, and the Kings have the highest 61.4 effective field goal percentage in the first half. Post All-Star break. So for all those reasons, I think that the Kings, especially without Lauri Markkanen in now and no Jordan Clarkson, give me the Kings to keep it going offensively in this spot. First quarter, first half. I played -1.5 and -3.
Sac road is bad. What? Sorry, my bad. So Sacramento road first quarter, first half is just as bad as Utah home. Oh, okay. I'm assuming that's like the splits, right, or the record. It makes a lot of sense.
Look at the last time that they played too, I see real quick, because these two teams did just play, I think, not too long ago. And I want to say it might have been in Utah as well. If you just go back and look at the game log there, you go back and look at that last game log, I see. I think the Kings smashed the Jazz in that first.
Of course.
Excuse me. The Kings smashed the Jazz in that first quarter. But also, that was a game that they had Lauri Markkanen and Jordan Clarkson. So I'm not sure how they keep up tonight.
Yeah, they've won both first quarters this season by 3 points. Or sorry, December 30th, they won by 3 in that first quarter. And then the one in Utah, they won by 12.
12.
They put up 35.
Well, it makes a lot of sense that you guys get that first quarter, first half. I'm just my only worry is that motivation here. Like I said, that look ahead spot is kind of pretty strong in this one. I feel like, in my opinion. Let's see. All right, so what do you think about just taking the Jazz team total under? If you in that case, Chris, in the first half.
I like the under I like the Jazz team total under, I see. But from your perspective, if you think that they're gonna be unmotivated, the Kings are, then it's probably going to be on the defensive end, right? Like the Kings never unmotivated. You can be unmotivated and still want to score, at least in my book. So I don't think the Kings have any problem scoring, which, if they're going to be unmotivated, it might be from a defense perspective. I just don't trust the Jazz offense to be able to keep up with this high octane Kings offense. I do like the full game under, RC. You look at the Kings on the road, first leg of a back-to-back, I think they're 5-1 to the under. We talked about that right before the show started. So I would look towards the full game under. and add that they're on the road, RC. There you go.
The full game under. That makes
Full
sense.
game under 238.5, I think.
Kings just came from, right? So they have this is the last of a 4-game road trip, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they're coming from the east to Utah, and then they're going to go back home tomorrow. So this is a really bad travel spot too. So maybe I'll ride with you guys on that full game under. That makes a lot of sense to me too. 240, and then 240 with that threshold there.
I think it's dropped, RC. We talked about this one right before the show. I think it's 238.5. I think it was 238.5.
Yeah, with Laurie ruled out now, it dropped to 238.5.
Yeah. I mean, he means way more to the point spread, especially with Dow Clarkson there, like to the total. He means a lot more, in my estimation, anyway.
All right. Did you guys see anything from a prop perspective, like Sabonis or Fox here?
Yeah, I was looking at Sabonis PRA. If you take a look at it, the 2 games this season against the Jazz, he's had near triple doubles. Let me see if I can pull it up here. But his PRA tonight is at 41.5. He smashed this over against the Jazz in both of the matchups this season. He had 28, 11, and 8, and then 21, 14, and 8 in the other one. So I took the PRA over 41.5 for Sabonis.
Yeah. I was talking to Matt on the triple double show about this play too. I mean, would you look at the triple double here too?
Yeah, he only fell 2 assists short in the 2 matchups against the Jazz this season. I mean, when Sabonis is in the lineup, he's always a threat to drop a triple double for you. But I see that number currently is at plus 295, close to 3-1. I don't hate that.
All right. Okay, well, I think that's it, guys. I think we went through all the whole slate there. Anything to add on that one, Chris? Before we move to the best.
I like Munoz' look of Sabonis. Only reason I didn't play it is because they are on the first leg of the back-to-back. To me, RC, I know you talk about the travel spot. To me, it feels like a game where the Kings probably want to come out here, get this one out the way early, so that they at least have a chance. Because the Kings are one of those teams where they're going to roll over. Like, I don't expect them to rest anybody tomorrow. So barring any like setbacks or injury, I think that the Kings come out here, try to get this game over early and have their reserves play so that they at least have a chance tomorrow against Boston when they do come back home. So that's the only reason I didn't play any props in this one, because I don't really like taking players on the first leg of back-to-back.
Managing the minutes, right?
Kind of managing the minutes. They got a bunch of guys, but I couldn't talk anybody off. I think his Sabonis rebounds plus assists was at like 19.5, 20.5, and that's something he's cleared, I think, 5 of his last 7 games as well. He should probably get there tonight as well. So I couldn't talk anybody off there. I like Munoz look. But officially, I did take the under 238.5 in first quarter, first half in this one. Minus 1.5 and minus 3 for the Kings.
All right. Let's move on to the best bet section. Chris, you kind of just started it off, so might as well just keep going here. Go ahead and talk about some of the other plays you got going too.
Yeah, so Philly, we talked about them. Just the revenge spot for them. Also feeding the Bulls off the double overtime game and first road game. So I did play Philly minus the 7.5. I got that one this morning. Knicks first quarter, first half, minus the 2.5 in the first quarter, minus the 4.5 in the first half. Talked about them just being, far superior. And then Sacramento, first quarter, first half. I just talked about those. Utah just fading them at home in the first quarter, first half. And then that under. I did talk about that under as well. See, I really like that under 238. Just because we just looked at it, 5-1 to the under in road games, where they're on the first leg of a back-to-back. You kind of got to save something for tomorrow against the Boston Celtics. So all those plays kind of correlate. Kings get the game over with early in the first half, and and also don't score as many points. And they should be able to hold this Utah Jazz team down. RC, I know you've been cashing on unders when the Kings are on the road. I think you might have hit all 3 of them so far, but that's been profitable. So I'm on that under with you there.
All right, Munaf, go ahead and drop some stuff here.
Yeah, agreement on the Knicks first half. Did play that earlier today. Warriors first half team total over 61.5 now. like that. As far as player props, man, I'll mention this. I'm gonna put a little bit on it, but Steph Curry against the Rockets in 3 out of the last 4 games has dropped a double-double against them. He's had 10 assists, 15 assists. He fell 1 assist short of another double-double and 12 assists. So almost could have been 4 straight. I see that at plus 430 here tonight for Steph Curry to get a double-double. Did play the Harden assist over 10.5. And then Sabonis PRA over 41.5.
I like it. All right, so for me, I did take Philly at last night at -7. I do think that they win by double digits, and I think it's a 10-point win or more. Philly over 224.5. Some of the other things that I have not bet yet that we did talk about on this show today. So looking towards the Hornets there to fade the Pacers without Hallie. Initially, I did like the Rockets, but not so much now. But as far as props in that game, got to look towards KPJ and Jabari there. I don't know, if you're gonna get there with the double doubles on those guys, but I might just sprinkle a little bit on both of them just because it worked well last time, right? So hopefully we get it done again with those guys out. Especially with them being downgraded and questionable, I feel like we should get it now rather than later when they're officially out. And it won't be much anyways. They just kind of sprinkle there. Rockets Warriors over first half is something that we also saw in some of the numbers, the trends that we saw. Knicks, I think I want to get there with the team total over the first quarter. On the Knicks side there. And then Kings Jazz, the full game under is something else I want to continue looking for that in that game. Maybe so either the full game under or the Jazz team total under as well. And if somehow the Jazz are close, if they cover that first half spread, I'm gonna take the Kings live in that second half. They should be able to win that game. But I'm just not gonna touch it before the game here. That's it. I think that is it. A lot of stuff that we liked. Hopefully you guys got some great information from both Chris Munoz. From all of us, Chris Munoz and myself. One thing before we go, Chris or Munoz, you guys want to drop any? And Munoz, I know you got baseball coming up. You're going to be hosting a show. If you want to plug that real quick.
Yeah, MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. We're in the midst of division previews for the 6 are done. Got 2 more this week. We'll do a futures episode next week. And then season kicks off in 10 days. So, man, I know it's going to be a lot of fun talking baseball with you guys as well. So, one season ends, another one begins. But definitely looking forward to it, my man.
Yeah, for sure. Chris, anything else to promote before we go? I know you do like 3 daily shows, bro. Like you're busy.
Yeah, no, I don't got nothing, no promotion. I just need to know what time the baseball previews.
We usually go around 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock Central, 5 p.m. Eastern. I know you have your show during that time, but they're all up on YouTube. You go back and watch. We had some good guests on. We had Minty Betts on, Katie Mox. We got Kenny coming up tomorrow. Austin Rosenberg, we had him on as well. So it's gonna be a lot. It's been a lot of fun.
Nice. I'm gonna check that out. Now I don't got nothing to plug. I see people know where they can find me. If you don't, just try hard. You'll
4:15 on Twitter Central Time.
We're ready for the Nerfies. Yeah, you guys see our Twitter tags right there. Youcapper Sports, Chris B. Cappin, Sports Nerd 824. All on Twitter, guys. Just follow us if you want to support us. A lot of information that goes out there. Obviously, we do all our shows. Other than that, guys, always have to end the show like this, whether you fade us or follow us. It is on you guys to make that call. Good luck with all your action. Whoa, what happened to my camera? Till next time. Peace.